Welcome to our podcast, Below the Belt. We are below the belt peoples, below the belt. Welcome, one and all. Good to see you guys wherever you are joining us from around the world. Hopefully, some of you are on Twitter, some of you are on LinkedIn, some of you are on YouTube, and most of you on Facebook, the Blue Meta app. Facebook, 'cause that's how you always roll. So, what's the fast people we got, you know? Whole set of people, a whole set of fast people. But we love you all. We love you all. Nonetheless, good to see so many of you. I'm looking at our Facebook page and I'm so privileged. All of you who like my Facebook page at Shared Avery Duncan on Facebook, the page is against the profile, the page, and we're at 92,000 followers. Guys, thank you. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the love, people. Thank you for the love. We feel it. We can't lie to you. We feel it. How the weather we all there? How the weather we all at? Guys, I want to thank you who joined our brand new morning program. Hundreds of you tuned in this morning. We got some good reviews. We got some good reviews. And we are so happy that you guys chose to join us. I hope you do so tomorrow morning again on our morning program. FYI, FYI, so good to see you guys. We're going to be keeping you company every morning, 8 to 9. I got a little over 9 every now and again. Things, but every morning we're going to be on the FYI we're on that end. But I can't promise I can be there every morning. I get to know now. I get to know. I can't promise I'm gonna be there every morning, but it's good to see you guys. We're so privileged to have so many of you, so privileged to have so many of you, so privileged to have so many of you guys. We love having you guys. Y'all are our family, Y'all is we family, yeah, y'all be family. Guys, y'all be family. Beatrice celebrates family now. Family. We don't care if y'all don't claim his family, claim y'all. You know how it goes. Soon as your family get little notoriety, suddenly we claim them. So we don't care if y'all don't claim it, we be claiming y'all. Right? Y'all's family. Elizabeth Durine from cold yet sunny Spartanburg, South Carolina. Family, family, family. Desiree Smart says it's cold where she is. Let me see where Desiree Smart joining me from. Desiree, guess where joining me from? Desiree Smart Felix says cold where she is. Y'all is family. Jennifer Argyle, family. Richard Fordyce, y'all is family. Andrew Cuthbert, pace and power in 2022. Patricia Kissoon, family. Patricia, she's watching us. Margaret Nelson, how you doing now? Margaret Nelson, how you doing? Guys, I see Marla, Karen, Pandy. Good to see you, Marla. Good to see you, Marla. Good to see you, Andrew Cuthbert and Carol Jacobs. Good to see each and every one of you. Guys, we love you all bad. We love you all bad. I told y'all, when you partner with us, this is what you help do. You help empower us to produce these programs. And I made it a point that we don't get anything. I don't take anything personally out of any of the funds you guys send us. It pays staff, the guys who are behind the scenes helping us to produce these programs. I take nothing for myself. I take nothing for myself. All of the funding goes towards producing these programs. And so we hope we know, some of you joined the morning program. Here you are saying, man. Uh-uh. Is who kitchen? Is who kitchen? Then cooking up this news here. Eh? Some people talk about the blinds. We say these programs are produced, and we out here talking, bringing you valid and credible information, and people seeing the whole thing. People want us in the cupboard. People looking at the wear. People looking at the wine bottles in the background, the books, the sink for see if you got any dirty way, the coffee maker, the microwave. People distracted. People want to want the coffee cups and all of that distracted. That's how y'all stay fast, fast, right? We're gonna invite y'all into the kitchen though. Don't worry, one by one. We've pulled up a chair for you guys, and one by one, We can pull you all in the kitchen. Say we pull you all in the podcast and you all are able to make your contributions on Fridays. One by one, we can bring you all in this kitchen. We hope you all able, We hope you are able when we bring you all in. Guys, I'm not going to be there every day. I can tell you that. I'm not going to be there every day, but I'm going to try to be as often as possible. But support the morning program. Support the morning program as well. All of that is to your benefit. It's not for our benefit. It's to your benefit. You guys say you want to know what's happening here, and we're committed to bringing you valid and credible information. GT Root Girl. I want GT Root Girl in this kitchen, right? And let me tell you something. We can show you. We're going to be mixing up this morning program. It's going to be unlike anything you've ever encountered, locally in the region or otherwise. GT Root Girl, how are you doing? All of this, all of this is for your benefit. All of this is to give you a voice, to amplify your voices, to amplify your concerns. That's why we out here. That is what wakes me up every day, that energizes me, that fuels me, that buoys me to do this work for you guys. And I pray, God, whenever my time is called, you understand me? Whenever our time is called, my time is called, another Rasta will take we place and we carry on this work. Folks, I told you guys, we're serious. I am tremendously serious about bringing you valid and incredible information. I'm empowered, guys, by your response to what we do. It fuels me and carries me and buoys me, guys. It fuels me. And I hope that now you're understanding better by and by what we're doing. We have the program FYI for your information at 8 o'clock, at 12 o'clock. We're below the belt. And then at 8 o'clock in the evenings, we are what? We in the ring at 8 o'clock in the evenings, in the ring. And we got other things we do, We got other things you'll hear about shortly. We have the website, credible sources. All of that is for your information. Our website can be found at crediblesourcesgy.com. But that entity by itself is credible sources. And then we have the WHIP, or parliamentary program, that's going to be on Sundays. That parliamentary program is on Sundays. It's going to be at 1 o'clock. We're restarting that program. We featured it just before Parliament went on recess last year. It was a main feature of our group of programs and group of I call them digital media products. Our group of digital media products that we offer you guys for your consumption. And we're going to have that program back on Sundays, where we feature predominantly what we're doing at Parliament, predominantly our parliamentary work. But I want to thank you guys. I want to thank you guys for your tremendous support. Karen Clark and Carol Jacobs and Richard Fordyce, Tomlin, Yearwood Ben. I ain't see you for a little while, Tomlin. Everything good by you, and good to see you, Tomlin. Maureen Coppin Williams, good to see you as well. Folks, we're talking today about bitter sugar. Bitter sugar. $30 billion later, the regime has thrown into sugar. $30 billion later, no sugar estates have been reopened. 3 budgets later, $30 billion later, and they're still telling me they got a plan for sugar. That is what the minister, the installed minister, Zulfikar Mustafa, trying to feed down with throat. More cenopods in with skin. More cenopods. More cenopods in with skin. That's what they're trying to feed us. But folks, we know $30 billion later, 3 budgets later, not one sugar estate, not one sugar estate rather, has been reopened. You know what? Failed promises. The abuse we are, the cost we out, APNU AFC. We know how to run the sugar industry. We know about agriculture. When we told them we were right sizing, folks, sugar don't command the place it once did on the world markets. It don't. It don't. As a matter of fact, cane sugar, of all sugars, there are so many other sources of sugar that can be produced cheaper. Technology and time has overtaken us, much like the Amila Falls project. Much like the Amila Falls project, they are far cheaper sources of energy. Time has overtaken us, and that is why every day we got to be out here working, because nothing is waiting for us. Nothing is waiting for us. But we understand they got a little base in the sugar industry, and that is the base they're playing to. $30 billion later, not a sugar state, right? Now, Zulfikar Mustafa in the National Assembly telling me today, oh, they can't wave a magic wand. Wand, W-O-N-G, according to him, his pronunciation. You can't wave a magic wand and things change like that. Zulfikar telling us, when in the opposition, he's got a lot of plans, but when you meet in government, you know, your plans has changed. We say, well, that's what y'all had. A lot of plans for the sugar industry. And now that y'all in here, now that y'all on the inside, suddenly you can't wave a magic wand. W-O-N-G. This is Zulfikar Mustafa. I want to talk about the bad grammar. I want to talk about his aversion to syntax. I want to talk about his aversion to subject verb agreement and coherence where those things are concerned. I want to talk about, how he has no appreciation of ideas connecting to each other, in his paragraph structure and, wanting the structure of his essay, his presentation. I want to talk about all of it. It can take me the rest of the program. But in fact, that $30 billion later, not one sugar estate has been reopened. As a matter of fact, the ports, the wharves that used to be shipping out sugar, now they're using to ship rice. That is to tell us where we're heading. He said they are now reopening in phases. They're reopening in phases. Folks, that is a laugh of the day. Down to Liverpool, Don Morgan, that is the laugh of the day. Folks, look, let me listen to Lil Nikita. Right here. You need some welcome distraction. Sometimes when you listen to these guys, I turn to the local entertainment industry, you know, the soca industry. Folks, soca monarch, come up. I think I can go there for some welcome distraction for my parliamentary laborers. Some welcome distraction. This is Nikita. Her real name is Tanisha De Freitas. Yeah, and a little biased, but we're gonna be featuring the other Soca Monarchs and their contributions to Soca Monarch 2020. This is Nikita right here. Right here. Let me think about this a little bit before I bring on my guest for today, Vince Roy Jordan. Yes, this is her. I'm being advised by the guys in the studio. This is her contribution for Soca Monarch 2022. Let me get things right. Her contribution for 2022. And just like Nikita, we right here. We right here. We fetting right here. We fetting right here, people. Right here. Just like Nikita. Trying to get Vince Roy in studio on the line with us. Trying to get Vince Roy online. This is Nikita's right here in the meantime. Right here, right here. Let's be there. Folks, Vince Roy Jordan, Member of Parliament. Vince Roy, how you doing? I
I'm
ended.
doing quite well, Sherrod. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for being here. I ended Vince Roy, just before you come on, I was telling the folks we sometimes need some welcome distraction. I love the music industry in this country. We were just playing Nikita's Right Here, formerly went by
Sure.
her full name, Tanisha De Freitas. Right Here. That's what we there, Vince Roy. Right Here. Vince Roy, are you there with us? Folks, while Vince Roy get himself together, again, our theme for today, for theme for discussion, our theme is not right here, is the sugar industry. $30 billion later. Now, Vince Roy in the National Assembly, we there, drinking we water, minding our own business. There comes Zulfikar Mustafa in this presentation. The man talk about everything else under the sun. He want talk about sugar. Vince Roy, what's happening here, my brother?
Sherrod, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can hear you. Go
Oh,
right ahead.
yes, yes. Thank you very much again. So, Sherrod, as you said, we there. And suddenly, the Minister of Agriculture responds to our Shadow Minister of Agriculture, Kemra Dramjitan, and his budget debate. And he spoke at length, Sherrod. He criticized every sector except that which the honorable member said about agriculture, in particular, Guy Suko. Sherrod, at this time, we understand and we know from 2020 to this year, Guy Suko has received or would receive over $30 billion. And with those $30 billion pumped into Guy Suko is still a, an unprofitable entity. Sherrod, Guy Suko and its management has failed under the PPP administration to, to reopen one of the estates that were closed by the APNU AFC coalition, as they like to tout. We closed the estate. But in actual sense, what we did was right size so that the organization can now be able to grow and support itself in that it will make profit and move forward. But they touted before they got into office, illegally, of course, that they were going to open estates. But after $30 billion, Sherrod, none of the estates have been opened. And I'll tell you what, apart from none of the estates being reopened by the failure of the PPPC, Gaisuko has continued to plunge deeper and deeper into the debt, Sherrod, that it is already in.
Uh
Gaisuku
huh.
has continued
Yep.
to go deep into the grave. I must put it because as one popular commentator said, guys, sugar is dead. But Sharon, the thing about it is that they don't like to hear when we justify, when we criticize. So I'll justify it for you today why we criticize the great ineptitude of the PPP and the failure of Daisuku.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to me, Sharon. In 2020, when the coalition left office, we had a 2020 to 2025 business plan for Gaisuku. And that plan was to ensure that Gaisuku continues to produce over 170,000 147,000 metric tons at an average annually. Sherrod, from that time when PPP took office, Gaisuko failed miserably until today. And I'll show you. In 2020, when PPP managed Gaisuko for the latter part of that year, we failed miserably in the second crop. And that resulted in Gaisuko only being able to produce just over 83,000 metric tons of sugar in 2020. As if that wasn't the worst, Sherrod,
Mm-hmm.
there was a revised target from over 147,000 in 2020 to 97,420 metric tons in 2021.
Wow.
The target
Wow.
was further revised by the install regime to 70,000 metric tons. And in that year, 2021, we could produce merely 57,995 metric tons, which is far beyond unsatisfactory, Sharon. And I must say shame because I'm not in the national. It's a shame for them to come to tell us that they're still giving to the Isuko public servants hard-earned taxpayers' money. Now, Sharon, I think, well, that was the worst. So, they would give up. In 2022, the installed finance minister comes again to seek $6 billion to be pumped into Gaisuku, Sharon. And here, what is the proposed target for 2022? The proposed production target, Sharon, is merely 66,000 metric tons. Now, it is from a great number of 147 metric tons that we had in our 2020 to 2025 business plan. So now, only at 2022, which we are having 66,000 metric ton aim to be produced. And we know that they will not produce that 66,000 metric ton, Sherrod. So this
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
here goes to show that Gaisuko is in a very serious state. It is in a troubling state, Sherrod. We are heading into very, I wouldn't even want to say uncharted waters, but dangerous waters as we continue with Gaisuko in 2022. What I see happening here is that we might double the 30 billion and head to 60 billion before this year is through because we have moved to over 65% reduction in the annual production target for Gaisuko in just 2 years, Sherrod.
Yep, yep, yep.
Just 2 years.
You know,
And so Guyanese must understand why and when we argue that Gaisuko should not receive any more of taxpayers' dollars. Go right ahead, Sherrod.
I thought that I thought that Zulfikar was gonna wave his magic wand, WONG, and things were gonna be fixed because in opposition, as he rightfully said, they had all the ideas. They had all the ideas, but now
Practically impossible. You understand it? It is practically impossible to open um, those estates, and all that they're trying to do is to prop up the image and survivability of Gaisuku at the expense of thousands of poor Guyanese and hardworking public servants who will continue to suffer day after day. That is what they're doing. Because clearly we see that Gaisuku is a non-profitable, it has made no profit in recent years. So what are we saying to people? What are we saying? Where are we heading?
and I
The
know
estates are still closed, and
we
30 billion has gone down the drain.
we have said here that we love our brothers and sisters in the sugar industry. It's not about that. It's not about that at all. The what we're arguing about here, what we're arguing about here is equity that a lot seems to have gone to the sugar industry, to sugar workers. But when you look in the public sector, for instance, they don't seem to enjoy that same level of confidence from the government. They don't seem to enjoy the same level of confidence at all. I want to take Vintroy, some of the thoughts of Kemraj Ramjatan during his presentation this morning on Budget 2020, and take some of your thoughts and hopefully you can expand on it, Vintroy, at the other side. Let's listen to Kemraj in the National Assembly early on today.
Right.
the revenue curse, the Dutch disease as we call it, And we must prevent that from ever happening, as we know that it has happened in our neighboring country, Venezuela. But as shadow in agriculture, I want to give a reminder to some of my colleagues across the floor as to what are some of the highlights during that 2015-2020 period. Concerning agriculture, you know, they will come here and say, nothing happened. We ain't do nothing. But I am glad that even the right sizing of the sugar industry, they are continuing with. Nothing for Skeldon, but they start now talking about Blairmont, Albion, and of course, Iflut. Mr. Speaker, I want to say that in relation to this matter of flooding, Guyana's first cutter dredge to clean out falls were bought in our administration. 22 coastal pump stations were built and 2 major sluices. You had 2 in Region 2, you had 7. Region 3, you had 1. Region 4, you had 9. Region 5, you had 1. And Region 6, you had 4. Yes. In relation to water catchment areas in Region 9 for cattle and vegetable farmers, they said we ain't doing nothing for Rupununi. We had 8 harvesting systems. 2 at Mawara, 2 at Anai, 2 at Ruperti, and Shuliman, Nab, and 1 at Aranaputa. We brought in Guyana's first amphibious excavator in the Eastern Marara Conservancy. You know, if I was on a platform outside, I would have said after each one of this, don't stop the progress. In the intermediate savannas, Mr. Speaker, there was 17 kilometers from the Takama to Ibini road that was constructed with 3 concrete bridges. And you had on a last occasion, Zulfikar Mustafa, honorable member, saying nothing happened under our administration. Guyana's first state-of-the-art toxic chemical storage facility was constructed in 2015. A chemical residue laboratory for food safety in 2019. We recommissioned a newly equipped pesticide and toxic chemical laboratory. It is a certified laboratory in 2019. And by the way, this administration has inherited that, and so shall it be. At Nari, you had the first turmeric factory at Hosororo, Region 1. Yesterday, we had Ms. Pearson, honorable member, giving the impression nothing happened in these Amerindian areas. We had mangrove expansion. We had destruction from them just because of certain friends and family at regions 2, 4, 5, and 6. Guyana Marketing Corporation, they used to cuss us up for plantain chip factory. You have that at Parika Processing Plant. It produces the excellent Hana plantain chips. Farmers and agro-processors market days were created under our administration because that is what we found very important and significant for our farmers. New head office for GMC. Same marketing corporation at LBI. And in fisheries, there was the first observation, monitoring, and control surveillance vessel was commissioned. Rice, the new head office at LBI, an approximately 20% increase in hectareage or hectares, increased acreage from 151 to 178,000 hectares. Mr. Speaker.
Yep. Folks, just giving you an impression there.
A very important institution.
That this is part of Kemraj.
Informs me,
Part
And
of
I have
Kemraj's
now verified it even with people over there.
presentation
Ghana's
just
first
today.
ever duck egg.
Just today. Part of his presentation. Because we know those persons who tune in often say, oh, y'all don't do nothing. The trenches and the jagabats, right? They don't like facts. They don't do the research. They don't read. They just want to talk. And so Kemraj was there articulating in his own way, in his own style, so elegantly, project after project executed by the APNU AFC administration. Vintroy, project after project.
Yeah,
And we had
Sherrod,
Isle.
and it couldn't be clearer there, Sherrod. And just to expound, you know, but but just to let our listeners know, Sherrod, it is the coalition government that set the stage for what each and every region is benefiting, and by extension, the entire country is benefiting from today in the agriculture sector. Sherrod, we champion the cause of reducing flooding in Guyana. We champion here. Kemraj mentioned
Yep,
about the
yep.
sluice and the dredging and the channels that were done under the coalition.
Uh huh, uh
We
huh.
champion the cause in what we call the lower basin, the Mahito Borbis region. It has not been flooded for the past 4.5 years, Cheryl. That is along the west coast of Borbis. When you hit Trafalgar all the way, or let's say from Bushot all the way to Profit, that area there, that entire basin, we have not been flooded. Even when the last year flood were there in that large amount, we only had minimal amounts of water on our lands, except for those beyond the main canal, which MMA controls. But Sharon, I'm saying that our government set the platform. When it comes to improving the quality and the service at GLDA and NARI, Sharon, rice production, varieties of paddies and all of those things that Kemraj mentioned. It was the coalition government that introduced that. It was the coalition government that introduced the first ever duck egg hatchery in this country. It was the coalition government that brought introduced into the farming
Yep,
sector the black giant birds, Sherrod.
yep,
And then they still have the nerve to say we did nothing over the last 5 years. Sherrod, it was the coalition government that started to ease the burden on our farmers when we significant ensure that the price for fertilizer was significantly reduced, and that the farm to market roads were properly maintained. They were built in the first place and properly maintained, because the farmers were having such significant challenges when it comes to getting their produce out of the back dam. And so it eventually caused them extra cost to not only plan but now to get their produce out. Sherrod, when you check across the length and breadth of the low coastal plain and villages along these areas, you will see that we have done over 100 farm to market roads within all the regions within the low coast. Check it out, and our viewers can go and check over the years what we would have done, Sherrod. When it comes to MMA, it is the coalition government, Sherrod, that invested heavily in MMA to ensure that we no longer had to have rice farmers complaining about clogged irrigation canals, because it was when it was time for farmers to go back to the land to start their second crop, water was never available. Sherrod, we got back to the same thing today. I
yep,
was in
yep.
number five village a few days ago, and the farmers in number five village on the west coast of Bobby, they are suffering from the starvation of water to their rice land, because again, Sherrod, we have clogged irrigation canals, and that is what our learned agriculture minister doesn't seem to understand. He doesn't understand clearly, Sherrod, that there's a difference between drainage canals and channels against irrigation. One is to give it the land water, and one is to take it away when it's too much. But
He gonna say,
Sherrod, you
they
don't
gonna
understand that
say,
at all.
he gonna
So,
say he ain't got a magic wand. He ain't got magic wand, Vintroy. He doesn't have a magic wand.
you know, you know, so, so It is
Them guys ain't
sickening to
easy.
know that when these jagabats come to the
Correct.
house and they want to talk about we doing nothing over the 5 years, Sherrod. When you go to Region 5 and you hear about the state of the art modern abattoir that is being built, Sherrod, it was not, it was conceptualized, it was supported under the coalition. Now they will benefit from that. I mean, all Guyanese will benefit, of course, but now they will reap the praises of it. But people don't know that it was the coalition who started it, you know. So these are things that people need to understand when they come in the budget and they come and they talk about that over last year they would have completed this and completed that. It is work that was started under the coalition government. And Kemat could not have highlighted it better to say to them all that we would have done over the past 5 years and to let Guyanese know that these chaps are now inheriting these works and they are proud to boast about it. Further to that, Kemrat spoke about the right sizing of Gaisuko, and they have done nothing different to Gaisuko.
Correct.
They have not reopened one
Correct.
estate. Neither have they. Neither have they introduced any new program to Gaisuko. All that they're doing is maintaining Gaisuko. But Sherrod, one thing I want to say to them that we have managed to maintain Gaisuko at the right side that we have placed it at over the years without investing or injecting rather the billions of dollars that they would have injected. So it goes to show that we had prudent and competent management for Gaisuko under our stewardship. And it shows clearly that Gaisuko's present management is a total failure and a waste to the Guyanese society.
It's nonsense. It's nonsense. You know, Vincent, as you were talking there, I remember Onage Waldron, our parliamentary colleague. Onage, Onage said yesterday we accused them of being corrupt and practicing racism without the slightest evidence, with no evidence. But what was absent from her presentation, as well as Zulfikar Mustafa, is the trial license and how some phantom people get trial license worth a lot of money, sold to them for a lot of money by this administration. Zulfikar has not explained to this nation who gives some fictitious people trial license. Zulfikar car a name. You know, some media houses like Starbucks News followed up. Right? Zulfikar said this man was in the fishing industry he was Guyanese in the fishing industry in Trinidad. Starbucks News did the work. Can't find this person. Nobody in Trinidad in fishing industry seems to know this person. But he get trial license, you know. And then there was the issue of the steel frames in Zulfikar ministry,
Uh-huh.
right? Of the tendering for these steel frames. Nobody seemed to know how these tenders came about. And all of that. Corruption. But Zulfikar talk about that, you know. All of the time is spent on APNU AMC. And when we went in power, you had three budgets. Three budgets over 30 billion. You can't open one sugar estate as you promised. He didn't need a magic wand. He didn't need a magic wand. He had the money to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But they knew Apnea AFC was right in right sizing the sugar industry because of where sugar is in the world
Right.
market. Has nothing to do with cane cutters and so on. We started so many programs to retool and to retrain sugar workers, to bring them into the formal economy because we see where sugar is doing, where it's heading. Three budgets later, they ain't open one sugar estate. $30 billion later, not one. But it's corruption and racism and those vices. Corruption, holding them like an anaconda, holding them and vicing them. Right?
No,
Corruption.
Sherrod,
Go right ahead.
I,
That's right.
I, I like when you mentioned corruption and racism. And you know, in the agriculture minister presentation, Sherrod, I must highlight this to the listener. He mentioned, after being criticized by Kemrad about the PPPC giving or distributing the flood relief cash grant in what he would say equitable manner and fair, across the region. But Sherrod, corruption was at its best in that distribution. And of course, marginalization was at its best. Racism was at its best. I'll tell you why. Because when they recognized that we found out that the scams in the PPP who are doing the distribution pocketed most of the monies that were allotted for the people. And like you know very well with we call it COVID and the cash relief in some regions, you have famous names now, Molly and Marla, and those names mentioning. Sherrod, when he was cornered, he brought some letters into the National Assembly today to say that friends in Belladrum, and I'll speak to Region 5 because I know my region, and friends in Ithaca, and friends in number 42, West Coast Barbies, wrote him to thank him for the distribution or for ensuring that they received the flood relief. Sharon, let me start with Belladrum first and foremost. Immediately after his presentation, I was tagged in a post on Facebook speaking about the untruths that the agriculture minister spoke about. The people in Belgium say in Creole, we know what he's talking about. I don't even know one thing what he's saying about the letter coming from Belgium, Sharon. We know, Diana knows, Belgium is predominantly made up of African Guyanese, and by extension, Belgium supports the coalition. I want Zulfi to produce to us as MPs and to the people of Belgium, the members of that, first of all, the letter and the members of that organization that he mentioned.
Correct is
because
right.
Belgium has no such rights farming organization or group put together. And for them to say that they would write Zulfikar Mustafa to thank him, Sherrod.
I
As a
think it's
matter of fact, from
yeah.
since he finished speaking, my phone was off the hook with people from Belgium and Ithaca who are calling to say, tell Zulfikar Mustafa to get it right. We
Make it
never
right,
wrote any
Zulfi.
letter. We never said anything of such. As a matter of fact, I understand also, Sharon, that the people of 42 are saying, and this is funny, the group that he mentioned, or the organization in number 42, West Coast Barbies, is a group that has the membership of 3 PPP personnel, and they wrote the letter for to come with the. So I say to you, Sharon, in trying to hide his corruption, he comes to the house to lie to the people. So I want him to produce the evidence. Take us to Ithaca and show us the group, show us the people who would have signed that letter and said that they are thankful. As a matter of fact, I can tell you, Sharon, Bellatron, Ithaca, 42, Litchfield, Hope Town, underneath. There are a number of farmers who have not yet received. As a matter of fact, I can go so far to say, even in Bushlap, one of our coalition
Yeah.
supporters, he did not receive not 1 cent from them, Sherrod. You know what they did? After this man is planting hundreds of acre rice and mining over 150 head of cattle because he's in the beef producing business.
Uh-huh.
They failed to give him what rightfully belongs to him. And the person who was heading it in that community gave that man in his name $100,000.
Venture, I think you're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. We want the evidence. And as Sonia Parag would say,
Farmer, and
uh-huh,
everybody knows that I don't get into, I am not in the large business in terms of cattle rearing. So I wouldn't ask for that.
as Sonia Parag would say, these letters that he
Farmers and
produced,
from these communities that they, yes, with these fake letters,
these fake letters,
the
Sonia
guys
Parag would
who
say they're Photoshop.
fake Photoshop.
Sonia Parag would say they're Photoshop. You
Photoshop.
know, all of
So
these places.
I want to
And
set the
apparently,
record straight.
uh-huh, apparently it's only in
Yeah, I want to
villages that
set the
favor
record
APNU
straight
AFC.
so for people to know and for those.
Great head, Troy.
Yeah, sure, go ahead. Okay, yeah, for people to know that that did not come from Belladrum, it did not come from Ithaca, and the 3 people who supporters of PPP in the Part 1C clear that wrote that letter, or perhaps he wrote it for them and have them sign it, or whatever they did, they can deal with that. But West Coast of Barbies, our farmers were severely marginalized at that last flood relief and COVID distribution. Severely.
But it's apparent, MP Ventroy Jordan, that is only apparently villages that favor APNU AFC's right to them thanking them. It's apparent. But that being said, we do homework here. We always say to people, we do our homework here, and we have been chronicling this inequity in the distribution of COVID cash grant, of farmers flood relief, of hampers, and all of that. And not too long ago, not too long ago, folks who are listening to us around the world, ensure you share this program and you smash that emoji button so people can get the valid and credible information. Not too long ago, some cane harvesters from Alness Village. Where Alness Village there, MP? You know the geography of this area better than I do.
It's on the quarantine.
It's on the I got it in my notes. I'm just trying to verify. Alness on the quarantine.
Region
These
6,
people were complaining
East Babis.
about the hampers that they were handing out. And it's only by begging, you understand me, to get anything at all. And he's trying to tell me people are thanking them. But these cane harvesters at Alness, they were saying a bag of rice is not a hamper. That's what they were saying. Don't take it from me. Listen to them for yourself.
Right.
And then people want you to comment at the end. Listen to the cane harvesters from Alness Village not so long ago. Listen to them. Listen to them.
Well, gentlemen, of course, what we receive. We receive a bag of rice. The bag of rice is not satisfied. Because if there are share hamper, a hamper is not a bag of rice. A hamper is a week ration. Limit of everything.
Yeah, so true.
You understand me? So you cannot bring a bag of rice and we are cane harvester. And right now, for this crop, if we go for cut cane, for cut cane right now, that cane what we're going to reject, we only one crop here because we can't get the other crop. So, we feel open.
Yeah, other places get different things. Other places get full hamper. They get rice, they get flour, they get sugar, they get complete hamper.
The place like Babuja,
Places like Babuja, Blackbush, and the same they call them affected with the fund, just so always affected. And in a fear that you give one set of people and set a thing, and you just come here and give one bag of rice. How can you rice alone?
One bag of rice is not a hamper. Rice alone, how can survive for rice alone?
How can survive for rice alone?
This is like a rule.
Other places that share hamper, some people over there, and they go reach the hamper and get.
Correct.
And then you come and give rice here, so and you don't give to everybody. You just give to a portion of people.
Just to say, add a little bit more. Gaisuku is an entity that deals with sugar. And whilst we are thankful, we want to know how can an entity that deals with sugar share rice?
And no sugar.
And no sugar. You understand? We are demanding of our corporation, that's Gaisuku, to share sugar.
Correct.
And the resident also, this including me too, is demanding that we get a full scale hamper. A hamper that comprises of everything.
Correct.
The flood has been affected everybody. And so with that, as I said earlier, whilst we are thankful, we are still hoping that you will treat all citizens of this nation equally.
Correct.
We want treatment just like Blackbush, just like Babujan, just like Wim, and just like Region 3. Those are the treatment we want, you understand? And we are demanding this sort of treatment. We are not no 1 gallon rice people.
No, that.
You understand? We are people who know about good living, good eating habits. Good. Right? So I will call on the government and all other business place to put their resource together and serve us just like how we serve the other community.
Yeah, because if you see a man,
one bag right
if they're saying that they are going for all the people, you're supposed to treat all the people equally.
Well, no.
You can't treat some more than some.
Like
you're going for all treat everybody equally.
Yeah.
Can't to pans how me saw the man being the fight, he look like a victimization.
Yeah, so thanks viewers for listening this video. I hope that you share this video with your friends, neighbors, groups, and whatsoever, and help us that we can get enough coverage that people will act in our behalf. Thank you.
Yeah.
Folks, there you have it. So this bag of rice, they said that a hamper, a bag of rice in a hamper. They say, listen, you heard them, and Zulfikar Mustafa, after people beg them for equity in the distribution of our resources, beg. He in the National Assembly saying, look, people right we thanking we for we hamper. Thanking we. You can believe these people? Vince Roy. I know Vince Roy is having some challenges at here. You all listen to them in the people's own voice. In the people's own voice. A bag of rice is not a hamper. That's what they're telling us. A bag of rice is not a hamper. Huh? But these guys here trying to hoodwink us in the National Assembly. Trying to, we big, but we ain't stupid. We beg Zulfikar Mustafa come with some words printed on a paper and say people write he. Thanking them for hamper. You all understand what happening here? Huh? We beg people, but we ain't stupid. We beg, but we are not stupid. Right? We beg, but we ain't stupid. We beg, folks, but we ain't stupid. That's what we're saying. We're trying to get Vince Roy to come back in, and as we as we wrap up. This is how things are, folks. This is how things are. This is how things are. We seem to be getting some trouble with Vince Roy, and I really want him to come back and wrap up because he heard for himself what the people are saying there. They're lying. They're talking the truth. You know, we say talk the things. That's what we say. Talk the things. Vince Roy, we big, but
Yes,
we ain't
sir.
stupid. Vince Roy, welcome back.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. I was having some trouble here with the internet, or I don't know if it's your end.
I understand. No, we got proper internet here, sir. Is we you there? Biggest budget ever. We got proper internet here. So eventually we were playing for the people. That insert with the folks that unless they're on the quarantine, saying a bag of rice is not a hamper, but yet Mustafa in the National Assembly trying to convince us that they give people proper stuff to the extent where people got to come and write them and thank them. The contradictions are too much, too many.
Sharon, let me tell you something. He mentioned that these letters were coming from the friends of the PPP in the Blue AFC coalition stronghold. But let me tell you, Sharon, I received complaint as member of parliament for Region 5 that hundreds of hampers went to Bushlot village. Hundreds I'm saying, Sharon, because we know Bushlot is where PPP controls. And instead of the hampers being distributed across the village for those who are affected by the flood, the people said that the person or persons who are responsible for the distribution of the hampers took over 50% of the hampers to the friends and families of the PPPC.
People like Molly and Mala.
Molly and Mala, right. And surprisingly, Sherrod, the other percentage that was remaining, it was taken to the masjid in Bushlat village. And
Oh, wow.
it was distributed to the brothers of that person responsible at the masjid. Now, Sherrod, if this is public, so be distributed among the community. Oh man, Bushlat got primary school, they got nursery school, they got health center, they got community center. You're not gonna carry to one of these public spaces and distribute it. How are we gonna carry it to masjid? And Sharon, I want to tell you that my Hindu brothers and sisters in that community and my Christian brothers and sisters, they're up in arms with that person because they're saying that that person is only favoring one set of people. How are we going to take it and carry it to the masjid and distribute it? And on the other hand, the few that was distributed, he only gave it to PPP friends, families and supporters. Now, Sherrod, you see the level you see the position we in.
Yep.
You see the position.
Yep.
So coming back, and they only give a bag of rice. I can understand because others are going through worse. Sherrod. While the hampers at Bushan were well packaged with oil, onion, sugar, garlic, flour, we know, but I mean, unless it's not one of the favorite places, so they're going to just give them a bag of rice. So we understand. But Sherrod, I want Guyanese to understand that this is the government that some of them choose to put in office. And of course, you know what they did at the 2020 election. But still, there are some people who solidly voted for PPP, and I hope that they're feeling the brunt of their mistakes, and they will understand that come the next election, they will make the right choices. Because one of the persons at Busha that complained to me, she said, "Oh God, brother, my decision. Me vote for them and now look what I got you. Me was senior citizen and me can't go and hamper. I be this own, it belongs to us and we can't go and hamper. Them karma the masjid and let them distribute them. And today the woman is still without hamper, Sherrod. So the sufferings continue under the PPP. I dare say it is nothing strange. It is only being elevated to a next level. And I want to say to them, if they continue to make the same mistakes at the polls, it will continue to elevate until we shall be no more.
Exactly. Exactly. I ain't forget them, you know. I ain't forget them, for instance, at like places like Rosignol, you know, trying to get the vendors off the road. Eh?
Yes,
They're doing the
yes.
hampers and all of that, and what was happening there, how they're treating the people at Rosignol there, like other places, and Regina too, mistreating the people, and then Zulfikar come and trying to bamboozle us about people loving them. Which part of this country people loving this budget? Let me play a short in another insert with you, MP Vince Roy Jordan, on the ground there at Rosignol, talking to these people. Darren Lal and them forget. They forget,
Mm-hmm.
but we can remind them, take a listen to this. Take a listen to this, folks. Take a listen here. They forget. Take a reminder.
But I want you to remove from the market. No, but the point is that you got to understand. These are the people livelihood. Good morning. Good morning, ma'am.
I come because they say that they want to give away my stand in the market.
Exactly.
What I just paid
Exactly.
for.
Exactly.
And that cannot happen.
And that is what we're talking about.
That
And they're
cannot
saying,
happen.
and they're saying the people are supposed to do.
You understand? They don't have place in there. They don't have nowhere. That is why I come out there. I just stand in the market and I want you to pay. I want to see them.
You have failed to put proper systems in place in that market. And because you have failed, you need to give them a grace so that they can fly their trade and live as Guyanese. You have failed. Gamal gave you instructions. Gamal gave you instructions to remove these people from the roadway. When Gamal is sitting high in his house and enjoying life. What sort of nonsense is this? The people can apply the trade. You never put trade for them. You have to make provision. I understand the law. And I am in support of them moving. I am in support of them moving. This young lady is there and she's fighting for stand. She doesn't understand. No, these people, I met with them earlier. They don't have a stand. Where are you going to put them, Madam Chairman? Where are you going to put them? But you bring the poor police officers, you bring them with guns to put them in a position that they have to compromise their integrity to force the people off the road. What nonsense? Where are we going?
And Vince Roy, you know, what struck me here is the fact that, you know, your own representation on the ground on behalf of the people wasn't for new AFC people only, but PVP people who eking out a living in places like this in Rosignol by the market, faced with the hardships of the PVP, you're representing them too. That is equity and equality and inclusivity. Vince Roy.
So Sharon, I want to say to you, when I swore to be a member of parliament, I pledge to represent all the people of Guyana and in particular, all the people of my Beach region. And Sharon, the people that called me that day when they were threatened and when they were almost forced out of their livelihood, It was the PPP supporters, Sharon. They were crying on the other end of my phone. It was the PPP supporters who walked out of my bed. And Sharon, without hesitation, I left and I went. Sharon, if I did not turn up on the scene, they would have been removed from that location. And today we would have had hundreds of people suffering. Because
Yeah.
Rostam market is a large market.
Yeah.
And Sharon, you know the hardship they're already going through. And I tell you the truth, they got me so upset that day that my emotions ran high. Because when police with guns, come on, man. You got single parents. You got people who bring the shello, the little baygon, the little bachi, and you know the things from the farm. And now you're gonna tell them they can't sell it, and they got to go home back. What are they gonna do with it, Sharon? This uncaring. Look, Sharon, this cabal. Sometimes you can't even.
Yep.
it,
Yep.
it is.
Yep.
It takes you to. And now you playing this video reminds me of what these people are going through. And then yesterday they installed other regional member of parliament for Region 5 will speak about they have the best interest and heart of
Yes.
the people of
That is the
Region 5.
point we're making. That's the point. They
They're
come out and say, we
concerned
care about
that
the
they are
people.
loved. They care about the people. They speak about the one Guyana. Sharon, they need to understand that the one Guyana they talk about is their interpretation and their understanding of what one means. But really and truly, they are running two separate Guyanas. And the two separate Guyanas that they are running, they favor one far above the other. Far above the other. You understand?
Yep.
Two
Yep.
separate Guyanas.
Point
You know.
taken. Point taken. MP Vince Roy Jordan, I want to thank you for spending this time with us. I know you got a packed schedule there at the National Assembly yourself, and I really want to thank you for stepping aside on the sidelines of the sitting of the National Assembly, these budget debates, and spending this time with us and making sense and giving context to these varied issues. Thank you so much, MP Jordan. Continue to represent the folks. Respect and manners, MP. Respect and manners.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Folks, that's our time today. Below the belt. That's our time today. Great having each and every one. You all see the people going through in this country. You all see the things people going through. And you all see G.T. Rudyard, Naomi Drucker, Michelle Jones, and Orendon Cook. You all see the level of representation when we go there. It's not any one community where, it's not one set of people we're fighting for. It's all of the people are being fought for inclusivity. These guys talk but one Guyana. But this is what the real one Guyana look like. Gordon Smith and all the other folks. We understand out here it's pressure. Pressure. Like Crabman said, pressured bus pipe. Pressure. We understand. We understand. And we'll continue to bring the representation. Guys, thank you for your time with us today. So many of you, Anson, Marb, Lynch, and Joylyn Cook, Clear Alexis, Charmley Richmond, Carol Jacobs. Good to see each and every one of you. Roxanne Aaron, Glensis Bingo Byrne. Good to see each and every one of you. Guys, support our programs by your presence, by your shares, by your likes. Support our program, guys, financially so that we can continue to build out our program and do even more of them. Support our program. It'll mean the world to us. I hope you guys have seen we've been good stewards of your finances. Look at what we're doing, guys. We now have the For Your Information program in the mornings, FYI, at 8 o'clock. We're back with Below the Belt at 12. We're on at 8 o'clock in the evenings, fighting in the ring, folks. We got several platforms available to you guys. We got the Cash App. The handle there is In the Ring 592. The dollar sign, of course, the dollar symbol, of course, In the Ring 592. At PayPal and at Zelle, we are the same email address, In the Ring 592 at gmail.com. PayPal and Zelle, same email address, In the Ring 592 at gmail.com. We are available via MMG as well. 627-6963 is our number at MMG. 627-6963. We're available via MoneyGram, via Western Union. And if you want more information, want more guidance where that is concerned, 627-6963 is our WhatsApp number as well as our MMG number if you need guidance. 627-6963. Pace and power in 2022. Guys, stay safe. Have a fantastic lunch. Share the live stream before you go. Smash that emoji button. We're going to see you guys right back here at 8 o'clock in the ring. Good to see you, folks. Take care now. Stay safe. Stay safe. Doreen Van Veal, stay safe. Donald Jacobs, stay safe. Donald Liverpool, stay safe. Carol Jacobs, stay safe. Good to see all of you. Take your time, peel your pine. See you guys in the ring this evening. Thanks for joining Below the Belt. Who vex lose, who vex vex. Stay safe, guys.